Stranger Things took the world by storm with its young cast caught in a supernatural conspiracy threatening to tear the world apart. 9 years later, the world still ending, the cast couldn't be more different. Compared to the starlet she is now, you can barely even recognize Millie Bobby Brown as a bald-headed young government experiment from Season 1. She had a few one-off roles in shows prior to Stranger Things, but 11 is without a doubt the catalyst that shot her to the level of fame she has now. Her career outside of Stranger Things has mostly stuck with the Netflix trajectory, albeit in some of their most popular films in the last few years. She headlined both Enola Holmes movies, playing the younger sister of Henry Cavill's cameo. She dipped back into dark fantasy as the lead in 2024's Damsel, and joined Chris Pratt on a sci-fi adventure for the Electric State. She's been making life-changing decisions in her personal life too. She married Jake Bon Jovi, son of John, in 2024, and the two adopted a baby girl in 2025. For such a major star, she keeps her life off-screen relatively private, and we're with most of her fans and eagerly anticipating where she goes next. Winona Ryder was an A-lister long before Stranger Things debuted, but the show brought her talents to a whole new generation. Her transformation into Joyce Byers was captivating from the very first episode, and her character only continued to grow over the show's 5 seasons. For decades, she's been a leading actress in cult classic staple Beetlejuice, Heathers, Edward Scissorhands. She melted into dark, conflicted characters throughout the 90s, then turned right around and blew general audiences away with Oscar-nominated roles in period dramas like Little Women and The Age of Innocence. She's never lost her quirky, youthful charisma, but in the more recent seasons of Stranger Things, as well as recent movies like Beetlejuice, it comes with an added layer of maturity. David Harbour had plenty of roles before Stranger Things, but his turn as Sheriff Hopper made him an overnight star. Gruff and no-nonsense, but well-meaning, he keeps the kids grounded throughout the series, while also working through his own demons and building a relationship with Joyce.
Here. It's okay. That's it.
Roles have come steadily alongside the run of Stranger Things. He got a chance to kick off a franchise with a Hellboy reboot, although that didn't have the receipts to warrant any sequels. He worked with Chris Hemsworth on 2020's Extraction, then joined the MCU in Black Widow and Thunderbolts. Coming up, Harbour signed on to more than half a dozen projects, including Avengers Doomsday. In other words, you won't have to try very hard to keep tabs on his career now that Stranger Things is at an end. In the space of 12 months, fame came for Finn Wolfhard with the determination of a Demogorgon. In 2016, he started Stranger Things, and the year after that, he was on big screens around the world as Richie Tozier in It Chapter 1. Wolfhard was 13 years old when Season 1 released, which means that fans have pretty much watched him grow up before their eyes. Gone is the short, scrawny boy with a love for D&D. In is the tall, gangly young man who's, well, still really into D&D.
But these aren't your normal dice. They have up to 20 sides.
Outside of Hawkins and Derry, Wolfhard has been growing into his own as an actor. Probably his most high-profile film role following his breakout was in Ghostbusters Afterlife and the sequel, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, though he's appeared in dozens of projects alongside those. He's also a musician. On top of solo work, he sang lead for indie rock band Calpurnia until they broke up in 2019, then became one half of the duo The Aubreys. Stranger Things may have come to an end, but Wolfhard is clearly just getting started. Ever since joining Stranger Things in Season 2, Sadie Sink has been running up that hill to stardom. In the years since, she's continued to work with Netflix on horror and supernatural films, like 2019's Eli and the Fear Street trilogy that dropped in 2021. But she's also evolving beyond Scream Queen status. She gave an unforgettable performance opposite Brendan Fraser in The Whale, which got her a Critics' Choice Award nomination and headlined the psychological drama Dear Zoe the same year. 2025 saw her leading the post-apocalyptic musical Odessa, which didn't get rave reviews but showcased not only Sink's range and acting ability, but her musical range too. Yeah, if you ever watch it, that's actually her singing throughout the movie. Turns out being good at Dig Dug isn't her only hidden talent. What's next for Sink? Oh, nothing much, just a little movie called Spider-Man Brand New Day, and she learned the Marvel Code of Silence pretty quickly.
How did your experience working on this show prepare you to step into a huge franchise like Spider-Man?
Oh, I can't really say much about that.
Radio enthusiast, father of Dart, and all-around heartwarming presence, Dustin's the moral compass and occasionally real compass of the Hawkins crew.
The sun rises in the east and it sets in the west, right? Which means
That's true north.
While you may not have seen Gaten Matarazzo's face all that much outside of Stranger Things, that's mainly because he's been lending his voice to roles over the past several years. Voiced Sib Griebling in LEGO Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, and Boris in My Father's Dragon. He also voiced one of the pigs in an animated adaptation of Animal Farm, which had a festival premiere in June 2025 and subsequently vanished into the ether. Now that he's done filming Stranger Things, maybe Matarazzo will have more free time to pursue other projects. McLaughlin hasn't totally turned his Stranger Things fame into wider stardom, but he's working on it. Over the course of 5 seasons, we've watched him grow up right alongside the rest of the young cast. Like a lot of his co-stars, he apparently enjoys a lucrative relationship with Netflix. He appeared in Steven Soderbergh's experimental drama High Flying Bird, shot entirely on an iPhone, then received critical acclaim for his role as a troubled teen opposite Idris Elba in Concrete Cowboy. Natalia Dyer was acting way before the Duffer Brothers cast her as Nancy Wheeler. Her first role was in 2009 with a bit part in Hannah Montana the movie. From there, she landed in tons of small roles, though Stranger Things launched her to bigger and more prominent parts. She joined a stacked cast of A-listers in 2019's Velvet Buzzsaw, then kept working with Netflix for the psychological drama Things Heard and Seen. In real life, she's hitched to none other than Jonathan Byers. Well, not hitched, but she and Charlie Heaton have been dating since 2016 and are still going strong. As the thoughtful, protective big brother to Will, Jonathan Byers never wavers in his core motivations across all 5 seasons. Charlie Heaton nailed the role to a T as someone who will always set aside his own problems for the sake of his family. Heaton's first big role after Stranger Things started was supposed to be the New Mutants, but due to no fault of his, the movie went through a troubled production process peppered with delays and studio compromises, and ultimately debuted to some pretty terrible reviews. His other horror movie, Marrowbone, got better reviews, and Heaton has since mainly stuck to more meditative dramas. Soulmates, No Future, and Billy Knight may have all gone under the radar, but they've racked up rave reviews for Heaton's performances. With a full head of hair and a weird blend of cocky innocence, Joe Keery, Steve Harrington, may have started out as an antagonist, but by the end of the first season, it was clear that he'd be sticking around as one of the good guys. His career outside of Stranger Things has been eclectic but consistent, with roles in multiple offbeat films and shows. In 2018, he appeared in Slice, a supernatural horror comedy about a pizza store that's also a portal to hell.
Man, I hate ghosts.
Jackson, your mom is a ghost.
Oh, great, yeah. Perfect, bring that up.
After that came the dark satire Spree, the crime-fueled romance Marmalade, and the body horror film Cold Storage. Of course, there were plenty of mainstream projects in the middle too, like Season 5 of Fargo. Clearly, he likes roles that stay off the beaten path, and we're all for it. Oh, and like so many other Stranger Things stars, Keery also has a thriving career as a musician, playing under the name Joe. And don't worry, the hair is still there. The inciting mystery of Stranger Things centered on Will Byers, which meant Noah Schnapp often had the added challenge of acting alone in the world of the Upside Down, reacting to special effects that hadn't been rendered yet. Then he was unconscious while all the coolest stuff was happening at the end of Season 2. The following seasons inserted him into the main action more and more, and he's grown both as a character and an actor over the intervening 9 years, battling against the forces of a parallel world. By Season 5, he's still doing it, and he's still doing it with a bowl cut. But let's face it, that's a man's bowl cut. Since he doesn't get his haircuts in Hawkins in real life, a lot of Stranger Things fans might be hard-pressed to recognize Schnapp in his other roles. He was front and center in 2023's mystery thriller The Tutor, and had a smaller role in Adam Sandler's 2020 comedy Hubie Halloween. But if anything, his roles prior to Stranger Things acted as a showcase for what his career would evolve into. In 2015, he made his film debut in Steven Spielberg's Bridge of Spies, and voiced Charlie Brown in the Peanuts movie. With instant fame from Stranger Things coming hot on the heels of those 2 roles, it's been a whirlwind decade for the young actor. Although she had a strong presence in the second season, it really took until Season 3 for Priah Ferguson's Erica Sinclair to come into her own. That's when the script doubled down on all the comebacks and one-liners that catapulted her into a fan favorite for the rest of the show.
Okay, well, what's the problem?
The problem is, I still haven't heard what's in this for Erica.
Prior to Stranger Things, her biggest credit was in an episode of the acclaimed series Atlanta, but since her breakout role started, she's been mostly focused on the continuation of Stranger Things and hopefully enjoying her childhood. That's not to say that she hasn't shown up in other projects in the meantime. She popped up in the 2018 horror satire The Oath with Tiffany Haddish, and 2022 gave her a supporting role in the Marlon Wayans-led The Curse of Bridge Hollow. With more roles already in the pipeline after the Stranger Things finale, it looks like Erica was just the start of a promising career for Ferguson. Maya Hawke was a latecomer to the core cast of Stranger Things, joining in Season 3 as Robin Buckley, but she blended right in as Steve's partner in crime and Scoop's Ahoy co-worker, and by the time everyone sent the Mind Flayer back to the Upside Down, it felt like she'd always been part of the gang. Hawke is of course the daughter of Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman, and if you couldn't tell in 2019, you definitely can now. She's grown into the features of both of her superstar parents, which you could see plain as day when she starred alongside her mom in The Kill Room, and it turns out that both of her parents are fans of Stranger Things.
Yeah, they love the show. They were fans of the show before I was, actually.
Off the screen, Hawke's been nurturing a music career and released her third studio album in May 2024. You can expect to see a lot more growth in the future too, since she joined the cast of The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. May the odds be ever in her favor. Vecna made his first appearance in Season 4, so he hasn't had as much time as the rest of the cast to grow as a character. But even from his short time with them, he's proven to be just as endearing and courageous as anyone from the right side up. Vecna was clearly inspired casting, with just the right bone structure, gravitas, and mass of fleshy appendages to nail the role. But he still needed to spend about 15 minutes in the makeup chair every day before shooting for what he calls a glow-up. Hey, that's just Hollywood! This was Vecna's first role, but you can see from behind-the-scenes glimpses that he slipped right into the flow of things and got along well with everyone.
No!
Sometimes he came to set, while other times a film crew went to his home to get the shots they needed. He told Variety in 2024 that working on Stranger Things was, quote, a real privilege. Well, the privilege was ours, Vecna. We can't wait to see where you go next.